Chapter 4 Budding Love. Joy, Brunnar, and Marlene entered the gates of Nesme as the sun dipped low, casting the town in warm hues of amber and gold. Their cart creaked under the weight of weapons and supplies as they made their way to the town guardhouse. Inside, the guards eyed the trio and their hall with curiosity and apprehension. After presenting the journal and recounting the events of their mission, including the weird bugs and the bandit leader, cryptic dealings with a dark cult, Joy handed the sealed box of burned bugs remains to the guards for disposal. The lieutenant present furrowed his brow deeply, taking notes as they spoke.
This is troubling.
The lieutenant said gravely.
We'll increase security at the temple and start looking into this cult. But the depth of this operation...
He trailed off, shaking his head. Brunnar crossed his arms.
You'd better keep an eye out. We don't know how far this reaches, but it's bad news.
Joy nodded, her jaw tight.
I'll need to send word to Mithril Hall immediately. They need to be updated on the attack on our caravan and the connection to these bugs. This cult is targeting them for a reason.
The lieutenant gestured toward a desk where the town's messenger service was stationed. Joy wrote a detailed report, addressing it to Mithril Hall's leaders. The message read,
To the Council of Mithril Hall, I write to you with grave news concerning a recent attack on our caravans and the discoveries made in its aftermath. As you know, I traveled with the caravan from Mithril Hall to Nesme, and during that journey, we encountered an ambush orchestrated by a bandit group. These bandits were not acting of their own accord, but were hired by a shadowy group tied to a dark cult. Upon investigating further, we discovered evidence suggesting that this cult is targeting Mithril Hall directly. The bandit leader's journal revealed that their orders included not only attacking the caravan, but ensuring the capture of its occupants. The purpose, as best we can discern, was to expose the caravan to parasitic bugs. The purpose of the bugs, or what they would have done, is still unknown. These vile creatures, which we discovered in a small wooden box, were destroyed by fire to ensure they could cause no harm. However, the journal indicates that these bugs were to be delivered to a temple in Nesme. The bandit leader expressed unease about dealing with the cult, referring to them as dangerous and untrustworthy individuals. He mentioned that they pay well, but hinted at a larger, more sinister agenda at play. This cult's intention to target and possibly infect citizens of Mithril Hall is deeply troubling. It suggests a deliberate attempt to undermine and harm our community. I urge you to increase security for any outgoing and incoming caravans and to remain vigilant for signs of this cult's influence. We are currently investigating the temple in Nesme where these creatures were meant to be delivered. I will send further updates as soon as we uncover more information. For the strength and safety of Mithril Hall, Joy Stonefist.
Once satisfied, she handed it off to the messenger, watching as the parchment was tucked safely away. With the message sent, she turned back to the others.
Let's head back to the guardhouse. I want to speak with the captain about investigating the temple.
When they arrived at the captain's office, they were greeted with a raised hand as the seasoned captain looked up from a mountain of paperwork. His tired eyes focused on Joy.
I've been briefed on your findings. It's concerning, no doubt.
We need to search that temple.
Joy said firmly, planting her hands on the desk.
We have to know who the bandits were delivering to.
The captain rubbed his temples and sighed.
I agree, but it's late. You all look like you've been through the abyss and back. Whatever's waiting at the Temple of Solarith isn't going anywhere. We'll assemble a team and head there at first light.
But Joy hesitated but relented, straightening up.
Fine. First light.
As they exited the guardhouse, Marlene clapped Joy on the shoulder.
Well, it looks like we've got a free evening. How about we head back to the tavern? A warm meal and a soft bed sound good after all this running around?
Brunnar nodded in agreement.
It's been a long day. I wouldn't mind a good tankard.
Joy smirked slightly.
Just make sure I don't end up hitting on half the town again.
Marlene grinned mischievously.
No promises.
With that, the three made their way back toward the tavern, the warm glow of its windows beckoning them as night fully descended over Nesme. The tavern was alive with its usual hum of chatter, clinking tankards, and the occasional burst of laughter. Joy Bernard and Marlene stepped inside, grateful for the warmth and the promise of a hearty meal after their long journey back to Nesme. They found a corner table and settled in, each ordering a plate of roasted meat, fresh bread, and a tankard of ale. For a moment, the trio allowed themselves to relax, enjoying the simple pleasures of a warm meal and the camaraderie they had built over their shared adventure. Bra raised his tankard.
To a job well done.
He said with a grin, his voice thick with satisfaction. Marlene smirked.
And to surviving it without Joy chopping us in half during one of her rages.
Joy chuckled, shaking her head.
You two act like I'm a menace or something.
You are,
Bernard teased.
but you are a menace.
After finishing their meal, Bernard leaned back in his chair, a hint of melancholy in his tone.
Well, this is where we part ways, I suppose. I've got other jobs lined up, and as much as I enjoy working with you two, duty calls elsewhere.
Joy frowned slightly but nodded.
It was good having you with us, Bernard. You're reliable, and that's rare.
Marlene smiled warmly.
Don't be a stranger, Bernard. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
I hope so.
Bernard said, standing and draining the last of his ale. He slung his pack over his shoulder, giving them a parting nod.
Take care of yourselves, and if you need me, you know where to find me.
With that, the ranger left the tavern, disappearing into the night. As the door swung shut behind him, Marlene leaned back in her chair, stretching with a satisfied sigh. Her gaze shifted toward the entrance, and her lips curled into a sly smile.
Well,
She murmured, nudging Joy with her elbow.
look who just walked in.
Joy turned her head and froze. Garett Vandalwood, the town guard she had met during her drunken escapades, had just entered the tavern. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and undeniably handsome, with piercing green eyes and a confident stride that made him stand out among the other patrons. Joy's mind raced. She vaguely remembered speaking to him that night, but the details were blurry, and now, seeing him sober, she found herself at a loss for words.
Go on.
Marlene urged, her grin widening. Joy shook her head, her nerves getting the better of her.
I can't. What if he doesn't like me? What if I made a fool of myself that night?
Marlene rolled her eyes.
Oh please, your Joy Stone Fist. You stared down a bandit leader and won. This should be easy.
Still, Joy hesitated, her heart pounding.
I don't think I can do this. Just forget it, Marlene.
But before Joy could stop her, Marlene stood up and waved Garett over.
Hey Garett.
She called, her voice carrying across the room. Garett turned, his brows raising slightly in recognition. He smiled and made his way toward their table.
Marlene!
Joy hissed, her face flushing bluish-green. Marlene ignored her, stepping aside to let Garett take her seat.
Joy here wanted to talk to you.
She said innocently, a mischievous sparkle in her eyes. Before Joy could protest, Marlene slipped away, leaving her alone with Garett. As she did, she walked up to the bard group playing on stage and said something to them. Garett's smile was warm as he sat down, his green eyes locking onto hers.
Joy, wasn't it?
He asked, his tone friendly. Joy swallowed hard, her usual confidence wavering.
Yeah, that's me.
You made quite the impression the other night,
He said, a playful glint in his eyes.
though I'm guessing you don't remember much of it.
But Joy let out a nervous laugh.
Not much, no. I'm sorry if I was a bit much.
Garett chuckled.
Don't worry. It was memorable to say the least.
Joy managed a small smile, her nerves slowly fading.
Well, it's nice to meet you properly, Garett.
And it's nice to meet you.
he said, his voice softening.
For real this time.
Our Joy fidgeted with her tankard, feeling uncharacteristically shy. She was used to facing down danger and charging into battle, but this was a different kind of challenge.
So,
Garett began, leaning forward slightly.
I heard you were off chasing that escaped bandit leader.
Joy nodded, grateful for the distraction of a straightforward topic.
We found him eventually, took care of his gang too.
Garett raised an eyebrow.
Took care of them. Sounds like there's a story there.
Joy hesitated, glancing down at the table.
We tried to take him alive, but things didn't go as planned. He left us no choice.
Garett's expression softened.
That's the way of it sometimes. You do what you have to do to keep people safe. From what I've heard, you're good at that.
A Joy looked up, surprised by the genuine admiration in his voice.
You've heard about me.
Garett smiled.
Let's just say word gets around when someone like you comes into town. A fierce warrior with a sharp tongue and a penchant for Al. Hard to miss.
Joy laughed despite herself, the tension in her shoulders easing.
Well, I suppose I do have a bit of a reputation.
Garett chuckled, his green eyes twinkling.
You could say that. But there's more to you than that, isn't there? Something tells me you're not just some wandering barbarian.
Joy tilted her head, studying him.
What makes you say that?
Garett shrugged, his expression thoughtful.
Just a feeling. You don't strike me as someone who fights for no reason. There's a purpose behind what you do.
Joy's smile faltered for a moment, her thoughts drifting to the strange journal they had found in the bandit leader's tent and the dark forces hinted at within.
There is.
She admitted quietly.
I just don't know what it all means yet.
Garett nodded, his gaze steady.
Well, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the answers usually come when you least expect them. You've got good instincts, Joy. Trust them.
Joy's heart gave a small, unexpected flutter at his words. She wasn't used to this. Someone seeing past her rough exterior and offering genuine encouragement.
Thanks.
She said, her voice softer than usual. Garett smiled again, and for a moment, they sat in comfortable silence. Finally, he leaned back, breaking the quiet.
So, now that you're back in town, what's next for you?
Joy straightened, her usual confidence returning.
We're heading to the temple tomorrow to figure out who those bugs were being delivered to. There's something dark going on, and I intend to get to the bottom of it.
Garett's expression grew serious.
Sounds dangerous. You need to watch your back.
Always do.
Joy said with a smirk. Garett hesitated for a moment, then leaned forward again.
If you ever need another sword by your side, well, you know where to find me.
Joy blinked, caught off guard by the offer. She opened her mouth to respond, but before she could, Marlene reappeared, dropping back into her seat with a satisfied grin.
Am I interrupting?
She asked innocently, though the sparkle in her eyes said otherwise. Garett stood, offering Joy a small nod.
I should get going. Duty calls early tomorrow. But it was good talking to you, Joy. I'll see you around.
Yeah.
Joy managed, watching as he walked away. The moment he was out of earshot, Marlene leaned in, her grin widening.
Well, how'd it go?
Joy groaned, burying her face in her hands.
You're impossible.
Marlene laughed.
You're welcome.
As Garett left the tavern, Joy leaned back in her chair, exhaling deeply. She glanced at Marlene, who was still grinning like a mischievous cat.
You're enjoying this way too much.
Joy muttered, though there was no real heat in her voice.
Of course I am.
Marlene said, taking a sip of her tankard.
It's not every day I see you act so nervous. That man's got you twisted in knots, and I'm here for it.
Joy chuckled, shaking her head.
You're relentless. But thanks for pushing me. I'd probably never have talked to him otherwise.
Marlene's expression softened.
That's what friends are for.
Joy paused, considering her words.
It's strange. It feels like I've known you for years, but it's only been a few days. I don't usually warm up to people this fast.
Marlene smiled.
Maybe it's because we've been thrown into the fire together. Nothing builds bonds like shared danger.
Maybe.
Joy said, studying her.
But enough about me for a moment. What about you, Marlene? Where are you from? I don't think I've ever asked.
Marlene leaned back, tilting her head as if considering how to answer.
Well, I grew up in the Dowlands near a little town called High Moon. It's not much to look at, but it's home. Quiet, surrounded by forest and hills. Perfect for someone like me who likes a little bit of peace.
Joy raised an eyebrow.
Doesn't exactly sound like the kind of place where someone learns to be an illusionist.
Marlene laughed.
You'd be surprised. My family wasn't magical, but we had an old retired wizard in town, Master Verum. He saw potential in me when I was a child, said I had a knack for seeing the world differently. I started studying under him when I was 10.
Was he a strict teacher?
Joy asked, genuinely curious.
Strict?
Marlene repeated with a smirk.
Oh gods, yes. He had a rule for everything. Don't conjure frogs indoors. Don't use illusions to scare your neighbors. And definitely don't ever enchant the mayor's cat.
Joy snorted.
You enchanted the mayor's cat, didn't you?
Of course I did.
Marlene admitted, grinning.
I was 12. How could I resist? Let's just say it was a learning experience for both me and the mayor.
Joy laughed, shaking her head.
Sounds like you were a handful.
I prefer creative.
Marlene said, feigning innocence.
So, why'd you leave High Moon?
Joy asked, her tones softening. Marlene's smile dimmed slightly.
There's only so much you can learn in a small town. I wanted to see the world, experience things firsthand. And well, let's just say I've had a few bad things happen there that I want to forget. It's complicated and I don't want to talk about it.
Joy nodded, her expression thoughtful.
Trouble seems to find me too. Maybe that's why we get along so well.
Marlene tilted her tankard toward Joy in a mock toast.
Here's to trouble then.
Joy clinked her tankard against Marlene's, a genuine smile on her face. For the first time in a while, she felt at ease.
Thanks for sharing that.
Joy said after a moment.
It's good to know more about you. Feels like we've been through a lot in such a short time.
We have.
Marlene agreed.
And something tells me we're only just getting started.
Joy chuckled.
You're probably right. And honestly, I'm glad I've got you by my side.
Marlene grinned.
Right back at you, Joy.
The two women sat in companionable silence for a moment, the warmth of friendship settling over them like a comforting cloak. As the tavern grew quieter and the night deepened, Joy stretched in her chair, feeling the weight of the day settle on her shoulders. She glanced at Marlene, who was fiddling with the edge of her cloak.
It's getting late.
Joy said, stifling a yawn.
We've got a big day tomorrow with the investigation. We should probably get some rest.
Marlene nodded, finishing the last sip of her tankard.
You're right. Can't have you stumbling into the guardhouse half asleep.
The two women stood, making their way upstairs to the room they were sharing. The hallway was quiet, and their boots made soft thuds on the wooden floorboards. Once inside, Marlene flopped onto her bed dramatically, throwing her arms out.
Finally.
She groaned.
I don't know how you keep going, Joy. You've been running on fumes since we got back to Nesme.
Joy chuckled, setting her axe down carefully in the corner and unbuckling her boots.
Guess I'm just used to it. Long days, hard work, it's nothing new for me.
Marlene propped herself up on her elbows, watching Joy.
So, Garett?
Joy paused, halfway through untying her braid.
What about him?
Marlene smirked.
Don't play coy. He looked like a stunned deer when he walked into the tavern earlier.
Joy sighed, sitting on the edge of her bed.
Yeah, well, I guess I didn't expect him to look like that. Last time I talked to him, I could barely stand. The whole night's a blur.
Blur or not, he remembered you.
Marlene teased.
And he seemed happy to see you too.
Joy glanced at her, unsure.
You think so?
Marlene nodded.
Absolutely. The way he looked at you. Yeah, there's definitely something there. He even stayed around to talk, didn't he?
Only because you called him over.
Joy pointed out, tugging at her braid.
I don't know Marlene. Look at him. He's charming, confident, good looking. And then there's me.
Marlene rolled her eyes.
Oh, please. Don't start that self-doubt nonsense. You're strong, fearless, and believe it or not, you've got your own charm.
Joy snorted.
Charm, huh? Is that what they call tripping over my own words and blushing like a teenager?
It's endearing.
Marlene said with a grin.
Besides, I think he likes you for who you are. Don't overthink it, Joy. Just see where it goes.
Joy fell silent, her fingers tracing the edge of her blanket.
I guess I'm just not used to this kind of attention. Most people find me intimidating.
Marlene shrugged.
Maybe Garett's not most people, and if he can see past the axe-wielding barbarian exterior, then maybe he's worth getting to know.
Joy looked up, a small smile tugging at her lips.
You're too good at this, you know that?
Marlene winked.
It's a gift.
The two women settled into their beds, the lantern casting a warm glow across the room. As Joy lay back, staring at the wooden beams above, she couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope.
Hey, Marlene.
She said softly. Yeah?
Thanks for everything.
Marlene turned her head, her voice light.
What are friends for? Now get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be another long day.
Joy closed her eyes, letting the exhaustion finally take over. As sleep crept in, she found herself thinking about Garett and wondering what the future might hold.
Hey everyone, Beans and Ryder here. Sorry it took us so long to get Chapter 4 out.
Yeah, life got in the way of doing fun stuff like storytelling, meat roasting, and head smashing.
Turns out when the goblins say we'll get it done tomorrow, they mean the tomorrow that comes after all tomorrows.
We had to really tweak those goblin nipples to get them to give us the new voice models.
That's not how I remember it.
Well, I remember. One screamed so high it reset our audio settings.
Anyway, we finally wrangled the software, hammered the hardware, and threatened the mouse into working again.
The mouse betrayed us, but it squeaked one last time for Chapter 4.
We're back, and Orsish Ryder team is rolling forward like a troll in a barrel. Unpredictable, unstoppable, and probably on fire.
Yup, we got new voices, new tricks, and probably fewer tech meltdowns, probably.
Thanks for sticking watching our stuff, and not running away when we yell at the camera.
And remember to like, subscribe, share, or we send goblins to reorganize your sock drawer alphabetically.
That doesn't even make sense.
Exactly, that's why it's scary.
Beneath the tavern's golden glow, I saw a face I'll never let go. Your eyes like stars lit up the night, a beacon strong, a guiding light. Oh, stay with me, don't fade away. In your arms, I'd forever stay. Through fleeting time, through endless fight, I'll love you beneath the tavern light. Your voice, a song so soft, so clear. Each whispered word I long to hear. No bard could craft a tale so sweet as the one that began